This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1122, 1122. And it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What up, though?
And in Los Angeles, you know him from Social Club Misfits, it's Marty.
What's up?
Emily is once again down for the count with a migraine, so she won't be joining us on today's show. Our thoughts and prayers. But you know, not having Emily on the show, I can bring up my Orlando Magic. Can we talk about the number 2 team in the East, number 3 team in the NBA, Orlando Magic, top defense?
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Why we gonna talk about them?
Derek, your team, don't be salty just because the Pistons are the worst team in the NBA and maybe of all time. Don't be salty.
Hey, man. Hey, look, we on a 14-game losing streak aggressive right now. So
it's rough.
Please don't throw any more fire on me, bro.
There's no need.
Man, I have been, and then like just the other day, the Lakers had the worst loss. They lost by like 44 points. The worst loss in LeBron's life. You understand the same day that the Pistons lost their 14th straight game and the Lakers had the worst loss of LeBron's career, how hard it was to not text y'all and gloat.
Oh my God.
But y'all have been so kind to me when the Magic were terrible that I had the text ready and I didn't send it.
I feel like I'm a reasonably sophisticated sports fan. I had to Google this morning if Orlando was still in the in-season tournament. The NBA,
the tiebreakers thing. Yeah, we were 3-1.
The NBA has made this in-season tournament the most complicated thing I've ever one, I don't even know when it's happening, when it's not happening. But
it was a success because on the last day, which was last Tuesday, when all the final games were playing, you had Orlando fans tuning into an otherwise meaningless Toronto-Brooklyn game and caring in the middle of late November. Genius. So they're right there. It's a success.
You need a spreadsheet and a calculator. And to figure out even, what games is of any consequence.
Well, now it gets easier because the real tournament starts.
All I'm saying, it could be done so much. You need an engineering degree to figure out who you need to cheer for.
They'll tweak it. I think the point differential thing kind of got wonky where games were ending at different times and teams had an advantage to say I know if we win by X amount, we make it in. They kind of threw the game.
But I feel like the fun of the tournament is you win, you stay, you lose, you're out. It seems like they have complicated something incredibly simple. It's like if you go through,
but now it's at that stage. Now that they've done the 8, when this show's coming out, the final 8 and final 4 is happening, and then it's just win and go home. Win or go home. So.
It's like calling your doctor's office to confirm an appointment. Something that's very simple. Hey, be there tomorrow.
Press 1.
See you there.
If blah,
exactly.
Blah, blah. Press
You've overcomplicated something.
Blah, blah, right.
A very simple thing that has just been overcomplicated.
Facts.
I'm just happy.
Yeah, you're entering your insurance member card ID, and it's like, who knows that? Where I don't know.
Right.
You don't like change.
Be there tomorrow.
You're a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
I enjoy it though. The Bucks Heat game felt like a playoff game.
Playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
Excuse me. It felt like a championship game. Like those boys were hooping. Like they were playing some real ball. Like it was some good games.
I was surprised, the winner of the in-season tournament, every player and every coach on the winning team gets $500,000. I was surprised that was as much of an incentive to these multimillionaires as it is, because maybe the superstar, don't need that $500,000, but the guy coming in between the G League and our end of our bench gets it. Our assistant coach gets it. So they're fighting for the whole team to win. It's kind of cool to see give some motivation.
How far down the coaching staff does it go? Ball boy,
that's my
level,
question.
Or
my guess would be anybody on the bench, like a bench level assistants, because a lot of teams, including Orlando, has a ton of player development staff and support staff that don't sit on the bench. So I would guess it's bench coaches.
Man, dang.
They should
I'll be like, bro,
it.
let me be a foot coach. I'll show you how to. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'll just bring
the Gatorade out. You know?
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, go Magic.
Hydration coach.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talked to one of our favorite counselors, Deb Fileta. We talked to her about specifically this time of year, busy, family, all the stress. How do we set and maintain healthy boundaries? How do we stay on top of our mental health this time of year? You don't want to miss that conversation. It's coming up later. And also at the end of the show, I told you last week, we do a second edition. We're doing Ask the Cast Holiday Edition, where you bring us your Christmas or holiday conundrums. We give you sage advice on how to handle the situations. It went really well in the last show, so we're bringing it back. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's Slices. You're listening to Laura Elliott. The song is T-Shirt. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by Factor. It's a busy time of year, and you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling your holiday to-dos. Choose from more than 35 weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never-frozen meals that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences, all delivered right to your door and ready to eat in 2 minutes. If you're looking for special occasion meals during the holidays, you can level up with Gourmet Plus options, including premium ingredients, prepared to perfection by chefs and ready to eat in record time. Or if you need an extra boost to support your wellness goals and feel your best during the holidays, try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. This November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Head to factormeals.com/relevant50 and use code relevant50 to get 50% off. That's code relevant50 at factormeals.com/relevant50 to get 50% off. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
All right. I have a slice that I thought the news story that I'm presenting was the slice, but this is one of those weird slices where the slice is the slice. And let me explain here. I was promised a story that I'm going to read. I'm going to read the headline that says, surviving the apocalypse, 1 in 3 Americans confident they'll be the last one standing. Very interesting because
1 in 3?
1 in 3.
That's crazy.
Well, that's what exactly like. Oh, I got to dig into this. This is very interesting. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I used to watch Preppers, one of my favorite shows,
Right.
One of the best shows ever. And I don't know if you guys remember Preppers. It was great. I watch a lot of apocalypse survival shows, so I was really excited to dig into this. And so I started reading some of the numbers, and they're giving the percentage. Then I get to this paragraph. According to Americans, the ideal survival team they would build to get through the apocalypse includes Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Chuck Norris, Superman, John Cena, and MacGyver. And I'm like, what kind of survey is this? You're mixing fictional superheroes with living actors, one of whom is 83 years old.
Bro, did y'all say Chuck Norris?
Yeah, he's 80. But and it's like, well, yeah, the ideal survival team would have an invincible superhero who
Superman,
who can literally do. Yeah, exactly. I would take him on my team
all day.
You know? And so I kept reading. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So then this is the next the thing. They said the survey also examined the foods people would live off of and discovered that canned meat or fish, obviously it seems it's not perishable, at 30% would be ideal. Peanut butter at 26%. Down the list were salty snacks and canned beans and nuts. But sandwich right there at 13% was satisfying sandwiches. In fact, who's taking Who's taking canned
Panera
meats
bread, bro.
over satisfying? Yeah, I would
That's
take.
how I know they're not going to make it.
If I want to survive the apocalypse, I'll take satisfying sandwiches and Superman. Yeah,
You're gonna get chicken parm.
No
Yeah,
wonder
I want
I'm
a
the
chicken parm, and that sounds like a Friday night. That doesn't sound like survival.
Then I came across this line. The survey was conducted by One Poll on behalf of national sandwich chain Quiznos. Which,
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
It took me half the news story to realize I'm reading Quiznos propaganda here. Lazy.
Was in the game.
Look,
This is
lazy.
some North Korean.
Lazy.
This is amazing,
Quiznos
bro.
propaganda.
This is phenomenal.
Like, make the ideal team like, I've got to take Bear Grylls or whatever. Like, the laziest Quiznos propaganda I've ever read. It's like, I'll take a satisfying sandwich over canned beans. Shocking. To have stopped the presses. Let's call the news agency. So you believe in what the American people would rather have a delicious sandwich during the apocalypse than nuts? Like, give me a break.
This is awesome.
Quiznos, I literally, when I read that, I was like, I got to check the date on this. Is this some kind of typo? I didn't even know Quiznos was still around.
I went to a Quiznos a couple months ago.
Was it good?
Did
it still stand?
How many are there left?
Look, man, I'm not trying to mess my Quiznos sponsorship up, but the lady was a little stingy with the little sweet onion teriyaki sauce.
I'm just surprised they're still in the game. I'm surprised. I just remember it was like one day Quiznos, like you woke up and Quiznos were just everywhere.
And then the next day, this was in the most sketchy strip mall place on planet Earth. It was actually, I was about to do a show and I was really hungry and they didn't have catering. So I'm like, I guess I'll just go to this Quiznos. There was nobody in there but me and the lady. And like, it looked like she had bread stacked up to the top of the ceiling. Like nobody was, I'm the only customer she had the whole day.
Because maybe no one knew it was still in business.
No, it was in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, bro, I don't, it's the Arby's thing. Like, you know how we're like, no one eats at Arby's. How are they still open? It's the same thing here.
They're laundering money.
At least Arby's have his Jamocha and great curly fries.
Quiznos at one point had 4,000 stores. Mm-hmm. There's now 170. As of last
downfall of Quiznos. Sure. I want to see that documentary. There's 3 right by me. There's 3 right by me right now, and that's the ones in California. There's 3 within 16 miles of me.
That's crazy.
4,000 closures.
Yeah, that's 4,000
plus closures.
That's crazy.
I wish Subway closed. That would be great. I wish it was a reverse. We had Quiznos and Subway.
How dare you, Marty?
I mean, that's the lowest tier. I mean, they took out Blimpies. They took out their competition. They took out. Remember Blimpies, guys? I mean, come on.
Blimpies.
The only person who could stand up was Publix. And luckily, they didn't get taken out. I think there's some mafioso stuff happening.
Jersey Mike's has a good sandwich. I don't know if you.
I'd rather do Jersey Mike's than Subway. Subway just has bad. Subway just has bad marketing.
Well, here's the thing about But here's the deal. There's one that's in the game that's like, there's no way that we're competing with Jersey Mike's Firehouse level, but we're going to do something. We're going to figure out a way to make and deliver sandwiches with almost It's like they know you're about to call and they have your sandwich ready about to deliver, and that's Jimmy John's. You can order at Jimmy John's, and I don't know how they do it. They have your perfectly custom sandwich at your place of work, your house, within minutes.
Oh, yeah, I had Jimmy John's and Jersey Mike's mixed. Jimmy John's is the one that I don't like. Jersey Mike's, I rock with them. But Jimmy John's, the sandwiches are always cold and like...
Well, I don't have time to eat them. There's no time for that.
Bro, and the bread is always hard to me. Like, it's like...
Yeah. Again, there's no time to soften it up.
Subway just has great locations.
Well, because half of them are in gas stations,
right?
And then the other half, like in the hospital, they have them in the hospital. Like it's just like it's all there. And I'd rather much more have Jersey Mike's.
I think the same company that owns Taco Bell owns Subway, maybe, I think, or something like that. They're in a pool with other fast food chains. I don't know which one it is.
Did you ever hear that story about Pepsi? How Pepsi bought KFC. Mm-hmm. They bought 4 stores so they could put Pepsi in them.
Yep.
Best investment they ever did because nobody wanted to carry Pepsi at one point.
Yeah. A genius.
There you go.
It's a fact.
What? How much money is that?
That was my slice a couple years ago.
How much money is that, Marty? Like, what do I got to do to get that kind of money? Be like, you know what? People aren't buying my albums. I'm just going to buy Spotify.
150. That's how it starts to get what do they call those? 150 to get the franchise going. Start with the Chick-fil-A one.
Chick-fil-A, you have to have worked there for years before they'll
to get it.
allow you to.
And then like the max salary is like 100,000, right?
No, they do better than that.
They price it like a pastor would, his own salary. Like, hey, you can't get over this amount.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for your sandwich update. Stay tuned. Up next. I'm kidding. We're still in slices. What do you have, Derek?
Andre 3000 has the longest song to chart on Billboard with his last release.
Something from that Flute album charted?
Bro, stop.
Album's like number one
now, bro. Like, you not gonna talk about Dre like that.
Hey, I love Andre 3000. I hate that album though.
I love that album, but it charted.
Really?
I like it. Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, I listen to like all kind of different stuff like that. But the album peaked at 34 on Billboard, and that song is the first song, the intro. It peaked at number 90 on the Billboard Hot 100. So yeah. But it's crazy. It's a 12-minute song.
Flutes.
Hey, look.
Crazy.
Remember back in the 90s when there were instrumentalists that would just do well?
Yeah, like
Yao Ming. What's that one lady? What's that one lady who just played like the girl, though? She's an Asian.
Oh,
she was great.
Yo-Yo Ma.
The violin Yo-Yo Ma. Yeah. That was a big one because I just saw her on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Then, there's always somebody. There's Kenny G, all these different people. So he's just a new version of that for our generation.
I love it.
So it works.
I think it's dope.
You got to listen to something in the elevator.
Hey, bro, chill out.
It's like yoga studio music. It's like spa music.
Chill out, bro. Y'all gonna
It is very spa-like.
It's very spa-like. No, I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, listen, when I'm on hold, I got to hear something, or else how do I know the call didn't drop?
I love hearing Michael McDonald on hold. You're like, yeah, heck yeah. Can you stop? Put me back on pause.
He's just doing vocal riffs. He's not even had lyrics. They're just like, just riff, man.
Just him riffing.
Yeah.
All right, that's funny. All right, Marty, what do you have?
Yeah, so my story, I don't know if you guys have heard this. My slice of the week was a story about Sabrina Carpenter. She was from Girl Meets World. I don't know if you guys know her from Disney fame. So she did a music video in a Brooklyn Catholic church. Apparently, they didn't know what they were getting into. She put a bunch of coffins in there. She's filming a music video for her song. I think it's like Feather. She films this whole music video, and the church realizes this was in our church. So the Catholic Church gets pissed off. They fire the pastor. They don't fire the pastor. He's on administrative leave, because they didn't know what they were getting into. And at this point, I mean, this goes to an earlier slice that I had about Doja Cat. Are you really a pop star if you're not offending the church at this point?
Yeah.
So she filmed this music video. And she's dancing in a black dress. She's got coffins around. I think they're her ex-boyfriends. And so she did this whole music video. Catholic Church, the head of them, like the diocese, found out, lost their mind that they would use this church in Brooklyn to film a music video. And now the consequences are all on this poor guy who just rented out the building, not even knowing what was going to happen. Dang. So the pastor's in serious trouble. And her video has 11 million views. So great music video and a great song. I haven't heard either and I haven't even seen it, but yeah, great for both. And what happens in Brooklyn happens in Brooklyn, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of on him, though, right? He probably should have checked it out before.
He should have checked it. I feel like you ever get so angry at something that you just had that jolt reaction. Like you go a little too hard. Like you just find the news and you're like, I'm going to send the best email. Yeah. I feel like that's how the diocese acted towards him. Now it's, now the news is really about how they allowed this woman to film a music video, not really about why. There's no explanation of why. I mean, he's just more upset that they would film this pop music video inside of a church, I think.
Yeah.
Is it like, it must be pretty risque, huh?
It's not really that bad. I mean, and we're living in an era where I'm like the tolerance is higher. It's not that bad in my opinion. There's little clips I saw online. I don't know if it's really, I mean, I haven't seen the whole music video, so I can't vouch for it, but I can tell you that the little scenes that I have seen, she's just spinning around in circles with her face. And I mean, this is a Disney star girl. She's not going to go too hard.
Seem like that big a deal.
Oh, no,
it doesn't, but I think the church made it a bigger deal.
What part of the Disney journey she's on. Because you get to
she's
the one part where
she's not like shaved head version yet. She's between Britney and Ariana Grande right now. She's in that world, but she's not that pop. She's not that superstar level. But these stories, I find that the church is becoming the marketing tool for a lot of these pop stars to shake things up.
Definitely,
and I feel like we're falling for it, and that's the saddest part to me.
That's what happened with Lil Nas X. He was like, "I'm going to go." Be demons, and then everybody's gonna get offended. And
Doja Cat, like all these people are using the church as a marketing tool, and we're falling for it. And that's sad because it's the church. Church, unfortunately, I feel like throughout music history has never had a valid stance. They've always just reacted to what's the word I'm looking for? They just react to the headline. They don't do any research. They're not like, I was thinking about this. I don't know if any of you have ever had something taken away by like a Christian parent. You know, it's like, I remember my mom running over my Dr. Dre 2001 CD with her Expedition, you know, like,
wow.
That's actually how I heard Christian rap. Of all things was because that my mom ran over my CD because she heard the curse words and stuff like that. And so, yeah.
I never had it taken away. I just wasn't allowed to have it. So I had to be secretive.
I actually got a lot of good music that way. Friends were like, man, my dad's going to find my Green Day CD. It's like, sweet, man. I've told stories that, at those like burnings or whatever where people cleanse their home.
One with your
I one time I went
through the pile before they set it on fire.
Yeah, dude, I went dumpster diving one time at one of those, and I came out. I had so many cool DVDs I got from that.
Cleaned up.
Like
Road Trip on DVD.
Pulp Fiction.
That's great.
Road Trip.
You found Road Trip on DVD. That's a funny, like, that's the side note, but that's a funny like skit to have them about to burn all these CDs, and you're like, hold on. There's a Limp Bizkit CD here. There's like Dr. Dre, and you're like, all right, you guys can burn it. Now it's all trash.
See, the kids of this time will never understand that.
Ever.
They'll never have.
Oh gosh, they don't. I just realized that
they'll never have it.
Yeah, you can't pull out the NWA CD before they burn it. I'm sorry, kids.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Deb Fileta joins us. You're listening to Citizens. Song is Nation Acoustic. Well, our guest today is Deb Fileta. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, she's a trusted counselor and a friend. We've been publishing her work and her words for years and years. With the busy holiday season in full swing, we wanted to talk to her about how to stay on top of our mental health during this time of year and some tips on how to set and maintain healthy boundaries. It's our conversation.
Well, it's officially the holiday season, and I think for so many people that is a really stressful time of year for a lot of different reasons. I'd love to know, do you have any practical tips for how we can get through this season without being totally stressed out?
Yeah, it is true. It seems like the holidays just amplify everything, like everybody's stressed out, everything's magnified, schedules are overwhelmed, there's so many obligations. So it's all this external stress that people are dealing with. And I think on top of that, there's relational dynamics as well. When you go to these family gatherings and when you have to write your Christmas cards and sum up what's going on in your life, and when you're dealing with dysfunctional family members. So there's so many things that can really amplify the stress of the holidays. But, when I look at that as a counselor, to me, I think the holidays are just like a magnifying glass. They do amplify, but guess what? They amplify what's already there. They amplify our people-pleasing tendencies. They amplify our guilty conscience. Oh, I have to go to this because they're not going to be happy with me. That feeling of obligation. They magnify our dysfunctional families. They magnify our lack of boundaries and self-care. So on one hand, yeah, the holidays are stressful and it magnifies everything. But on the other hand, what if God is using some of that magnification process to challenge us to do things differently, to challenge us to focus on an area of our life that we need to tweak, boundaries that we need to set with family, self-care and soul care, like I like to call it, that we need to start investing in caring for ourselves and making sure that we're not burnt out. And so while the holidays do amplify the stress, I also think it's an opportunity for us to look at it and learn from it and see what we need to change moving forward, what we need to pay attention to so that we don't just keep repeating the pattern. So maybe instead of seeing it as like holiday stress, we should see it as a blessing that we get to see things that otherwise would just be living underneath the surface of our lives in an unhealthy way for far too long.
What would be a good way then to start implementing boundaries during the holiday season? Because I think some people might think, well, I'll just wait till after the holidays to do that. But how do we proactive about that?
You know, when I think of boundaries, I know we use that word. There's so many words in psychology and counseling that are so overused. And boundaries is one of those words. And I think people don't even know what boundaries mean. I think sometimes people think a boundary is, I'm going to tell you what you should do. You know, I'm going to tell you to stop calling me. I'm going to tell you to stop interacting with me. I'm going to tell you to stop doing this or that. That's not a boundary. That's control. You can't force people to do things differently. But a boundary is how you're going to protect yourself. A boundary is what you're going to do in response. So a boundary would be, let's say you get 5 invitations, right? A boundary is not feeling obligated to go to every single one, but choosing the 1 or 2 that you want to commit to, the relationships that you want to invest in. And I think in order to have boundaries, especially with family gatherings and functions and friends and coworkers, you have to really know who is in what circle. I always challenge people to draw 3 circles: your core group, your friend group, and your acquaintance group. And each circle is a level of commitment. If you don't know what circle anybody is in, then everybody feels just as important. Everything feels like an obligation. But when you can understand these people are in my core, these people are in circle 2, and these people are in circle 3, you can plan and prioritize based on the type of investment that you want to make in those relationships rather than doing it out of obligation. So those are just some things to be thinking about as you're getting thrust into the season of obligations and invitations and expectations. Who are these people to me? What type of relationship do I want to have? And which relationships do I want to invest in? And which ones do I not need to invest in? I also think we can, something I've been telling a lot of my clients is that love doesn't mean no boundaries. You can love people and honor them, but still learn to love them from a distance. And that means some things you're not going to be able to go to. Some things you're going to have to decline. Some things you're not going to be able to show up to. But that doesn't mean you don't love those people. You can still love people, but there's something called loving from a distance.
I do want to talk about, like you mentioned, the difference between boundaries and control. Obviously we don't want to control people, but, how can we maybe clarify those boundaries to someone without seeming like we're controlling them?
I think, again, a boundary is less about what you tell people and more about how you respond. So, for example, when we're talking about somebody who is calling you nonstop and you don't have the time because you've got so many things to do, and maybe you feel like this friend is being a little too needy and relying on you for more than they should. A boundary isn't, hey, stop calling me. A boundary is, hey, listen, you've been calling me a lot and I appreciate that you trust me, but I'm unable to give you what you need. So I just want you to know, if you call me within this time frame or after this time at night, I'm not going to be able to pick up. And that's a boundary. Something as simple as it's just what you are going to do. Hey, I really appreciate all the invitations. I really appreciate how you want to include me in everything, in every party. Thank you for thinking of me. I just need you to know that with all of the things I have going on in my life, with my need to focus on my family and my children, we're not going to be able to make it to this event this year. It's about what I am able to do. It's about what I'm going to do, how I'm going to respond, rather than, hey, you guys need to stop inviting us to all these things and expecting us to show up. That's not a boundary. A boundary is, thank you for the invitation, but we're not going to be able to be there. And so I also think it's important, especially for this generation, to realize that boundaries are respectful. It doesn't mean you blow up at somebody. You don't wait till the last straw till you can't take it anymore and then you blow up at them and call it a boundary. That's not a boundary. That's an anger problem, right? I think sometimes our culture, we wait and wait and wait and wait, and then we explode at people and say, well, that's just my boundary. No, that's not your boundary, because a boundary is something that you give to somebody with respect. It doesn't mean they're going to respect your boundary. It doesn't mean they're going to like the boundary. It doesn't mean they're going to clap for you and say, oh, thank you so much for setting that. But you set it out of a place of respect. You're respecting them, but you're also respecting yourself. I also think it's important for people to realize that boundaries don't mean cutting people out of your life. There is a time and place for that in some rare cases when we're dealing with extremely toxic people. But for the most part, most of us are dealing with difficult people, not necessarily extremely toxic people that we have to cut out of our lives. I think sometimes because we don't know how to set boundaries, we think of boundaries either I'm cutting you out of my life forever, or you have full reign in my life, full say. But neither of those are healthy. And so I think it's really important for us to learn there's different levels of boundaries. There's different levels of relationships. There's different levels of closeness that people have in your life, whether it be things you're sharing with them, whether it be the time investment that you're making in them, the emotional investment that you're making. And guess what? You control all of that.
I do want to throw something out to you that, like you said, I think or my generation especially, they think it's kind of all or nothing when it comes to boundaries. And it's like you said, there's levels or layers to it. I think something that can kind of get sort of misconstrued is, the idea of forgiveness when someone has wronged us. Where does forgiveness and boundaries sort of intersect?
Yeah, I guess for me, forgiveness and boundaries go hand in hand. So for me, forgiveness is me learning to release myself from the pain that you have caused me. That's what forgiveness is. I'm forgiving you. I'm releasing you from the pain that you have caused me. Forgiveness is for us to be free, to be released. There's still consequences. God has consequences for those who hurt us, but we also have consequences, and sometimes those consequences look like boundaries. When I forgive you, that doesn't mean I take away the boundaries. In fact, I have to reinstate boundaries so that I can earn back trust. I've forgiven you. You no longer have power over me. I'm no longer holding that hurt in my life. But in order for you to come back where you were, we're going to have to cross some hurdles to make sure that we can get back to where we were. And those hurdles are boundaries. In some cases, you're going to do a great job and show me that you are willing to do the work and heal and restore our relationship. And you're going to overcome those hurdles and we're going to restore what we had. In other cases, I've forgiven you, but I see you're not willing to do the work and change, and you're just standing in front of those hurdles, not willing to do anything about them. And so that shows me that, yes, I forgive you, but the dynamic of the relationship has to change. We're going to have to do it a little bit differently until you're willing to show me that you can be trusted again. So I think as a counselor, I see forgiveness and boundaries as something that have to go hand in hand, especially when we're talking about, can the relationship even be restored? Is there any potential there? Well, I'll find out when I start setting boundaries and you honor and respect those boundaries versus setting boundaries and you dishonoring those boundaries. It's almost like the boundaries are a litmus test to show me whether or not the relationship is healthy for me to engage in again.
That was Deb Fileta. Make sure to check out all the stuff she's doing, but if you want to go over to relevantmagazine.com and search for her name, a lot of good content up. Stay tuned. Up next, it's Ask the Cast Holiday Edition, Part 2.
You could tell if they brother by the rule. They claim Christ, we don't see it in the fruit. Go ahead, dog, and put that on the loop. I don't associate with that side. Tell him, though they change fake. All this growth coming from worldliness. Christian version of the worldly rapper that y'all wanna be. Anybody that corrects y'all is jealous, huh? Y'all didn't tell me what we jealous of. You follow trends, we'll forget you like the other ones. Another ones.
You're listening to Uninvited and Saint. The song is Girls Don't Cry. Okay, we did it last week. We're bringing it back. We're doing an Ask the Cast Holiday Edition. You guys hit us up with your holiday conundrums, and I will read them to the crew, and they will help you solve your issues. Here we go.
Excited to help.
Katie wrote in, says, we have some small kids, and I got one of those elf on a shelf things last year. Kids enjoyed it, but now they've been seeing far more elaborate pranks and setups on social media, and I think their expectations are a little too high this year. I don't have the time or desire to turn our living room into a Hollywood movie set every night. What do I do?
Tell them no.
Yeah, I think
you can't kill off
No, that's
elf.
exactly what has to happen.
Oh, look, sorry, y'all, the elf died.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to stage one more elaborate Hollywood scene, and this one ends tragically.
You fall off the shelf, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, that's like, I got a good prank.
Yeah, I cannot believe
traumatize your children forever because you're lazy. Okay.
Yeah, I got a good prank for these kids. We pretend a robber came in and took all your gifts, and now you guys have no gifts. Guess what? We're opening up gifts on December 26th.
And children, your job now is to defend the house.
Elf on a Shelf wasn't my era or my kids' era. So, but isn't it the belief is that it's a toy that comes alive at night? And that it's sitting on the shelf watching you to make sure you're well behaved.
That is terrifying.
If you're not, then it'll report back to Santa.
So the elf is on the shelf. Yeah, the elf on the shelf is. This is because I just did a deep dive off TikTok. So it sits and it watches the gifts, and you're not supposed to touch it. If you touch it, the magic also leaves. So you don't want to touch it as well. Yeah. So you just watch it. Then the parent's supposed to move it in multiple spaces and be like, I don't know what happened.
Because it comes alive at night or gets into mischief and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and so apparently like a couple, there's a video that's going viral right now where of a girl just grabbing it like a little kid, and the whole family like loses their mind. They're like, no. Kids are crying. People are just losing it because this little like 2-year-old just grabbed it, and they're like, they're ruining the magic. So that's
there was a horrific tragedy last night, children. It appears the elf slipped off the mantle and fell into the lit fireplace and burned alive.
So you're not. So Christmas is canceled, kids.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I say the robber still stands. Just you give them the gifts the next day, and you say, "Hey, kids, we got robbed." Let them experience a little life.
There was a home invasion as well as a kidnapping. He was kidnapped. Crazy. He was kidnapped.
Nick Travis wrote in. He said, "I drew my office nemesis in Secret Santa. I mean, I really can't stand this lady. Okay. How do I give a gift that's appropriately festive without revealing my true feelings?"
Easy. That's an easy one. That's the month. You have to give a monthly gift. So it's one of those things where you put like $60 to fruit baskets every month. It's like, why am I keep getting like plums? Like, it just never ends. Yeah. Overwhelm them.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good one. I would need to know what she doesn't like.
Yeah, true.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
A little more detail.
It's some lady. Probably she's the unfun lady in the office. Probably the Toby to Michael Scott kind of a thing.
See, I feel like
a bunch of Disney stuff. Like just buy her like Mickey Mouse. Like, you know what I mean? Just buy her the happiest things you can buy her
stuff that doesn't fit. That's how you do it.
Just stuff that's just happy,
oversized.
Right? I think the play is a gift card, right? But it's not. It's like a restaurant nobody wants to. Oh, Checkers, $25.
Quiznos. You got Quiznos, $30 Quiznos. There's not one in 10 miles, 30 miles of the city. That's a good one. I like that. Quiznos, $30 gift card.
I like the Advanced Auto Parts. Advanced Auto Parts gift card.
They can't redeem it.
Radio Shack. Where am I going to use this?
Okay, thank you.
Radio Shack's coming
Sizzler.
back.
There's only 2 in the nation. Great.
All right. Megan Brown wrote in, every year my family debates whose New Year's resolution is the most unrealistic. Every year my family debates whose New Year's resolution is the most unrealistic. How do I diplomatically handle these annual aspirations without dampening spirits? That's just mean.
So what?
Everybody
now?
says their New Year's resolution, and then we vote on which one is the worst.
So what is? Say the question again. What is the question?
So she's asking, how do I diplomatically handle these annual aspirations without dampening spirits? So she's trying to say, like, how do I tell somebody in the family that their resolution is stupid?
Dreams won't happen, basically.
Essentially, that's kind of what she's.
We might need to have it. There's no answer for this except for there's an intervention for this. We need to talk about you and the way that you see your family.
No,
this is Emily. Who's this girl's name?
Megan Brown.
I have a feeling that her family.
We need to talk, girl.
I have a feeling that her family probably has like wild stuff with no follow through or no plan. Like, what if her family is like?
Is that what it is?
What if it's that? It could be that. Like, I'm gonna make $1 million next year. Well, how?
Right.
I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it by Amazon drop shipping. We doing Amazon drop shipping, or we're doing.
Now I'm on Megan's side. Now that you said that, Derek, you're right.
Right,
I'm on Megan's side. They probably are outrageous. I'm gonna open up a Quiznos. Yeah, I'm gonna open up a Quiznos in our city.
Right. So that's what I'm assuming. I don't want to think that she's just the most miserable person in the world. That's like, hey, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. You can't do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cassie wrote in and said that every year her resolutions are always forgotten by February. How do you come up with a New Year's resolution that's both fun and actually achievable? So she wants some tips here for her resolution.
Well, I think just if she's just looking for fun and achievable, that's a very low bar. It's like
it is a low bar.
For sure.
But I think honestly that's the key. Like, if you want to,
it's the common sense party mindset.
Exactly.
You can knock out all these.
If you want to lose weight or you want to get out of debt, okay, don't paint yourself into a corner here. If you're like, I want to watch 6 movies a month, great, easy day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, right. I like it. Just keep it. I think the key is to keep it simple. If you want it fun and achievable, make something fun and achievable here. Right. You know,
absolutely, simple. Low level. Let's do some low level goals. All right.
Yeah.
I like it. Trenton said that his neighbor's Christmas lights are so bright. It's like living next to a small sun. How can he ask them to tone down the Christmas cheer without seeming like a Grinch?
Hey, bro, can you tone down the Christmas tree, bro?
But they're on. There's not like a dimmer switch.
No, it's easy. It's super easy. I have had to do this myself, and it starts and it ends with the Starbucks gift card and a handwritten note.
No,
and you put it in, you'd be like, listen, I hate to be this person, but, it's directly into you lie, of course, right into my children's room, the light. I love your Christmas lights.
But it's your neighbor. They know that you don't have kids.
No, you fight fire with fire. Okay, you
brighter. You want them brighter?
You
put flashlights
they want to
in there.
see shine. You show them some shine, and I'm talking motion detector floodlights around the perimeter of your house. It's going to look like a Supermax prison out there.
That's expensive.
You're going to win remember you were just talking about in your slice about how, being able to survive this world annihilation. Now I understand why you're one in the 3 that feel like you're going to
just one convenient. How about this? One conveniently split place, one floodlight just shine directly into one of their windows.
Bro,
I think we'll do the job.
on the door. and say, "Can you turn the floodlight off?"
I prefer
just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
passive-aggressive.
just be like, "It's too bright."
Okay,
bro.
but let's just say, okay, I went through all the effort. I had this big, plan for my Christmas lights. I hung them. It took a lot of work. I'm excited about it. And my neighbor comes up and says, "Can you turn your lights down?" I don't appreciate
Be prepared.
it. I'm gonna be like, no.
But
just-
even if they have the gift card, you have to be prepared to make a veiled threat against their home.
Listen,
Yeah,
tell
you have
them
to see
that you
something
went to
happen.
sleep and you thought Jesus came back because the whole outside was bright. Like,
But he's gonna be like, that's
Yeah.
the point. It's Christmas. You need to be more cheerful. That's what.
Then the floodlight comes. Then the threats, and then you resort to threats and
the
floodlights.
floodlight just.
What
And then
what
stage
you'd
the
want to
murder
do?
of their elf on a
Yeah,
shelf.
yeah. You want to do is you want to go up to them with a child and say, "My daughter
Is
can't
allergic
sleep."
to
And
light.
they're like, "That's not even your kid. Doesn't matter. My daughter can't sleep,"
Yeah.
and that is directly in her room. And
And if you don't
no.
turn it off, I might burn your house down.
I'm gonna break
Or
one
just
leg
go outside
at a
and hit
time.
the fuse box. Just
That's yeah. I mean, now we're getting to Home Alone. Now we're getting into now. I know why you like Home Alone, as you're getting the fuse boxes. There's things happening here, but I think that it's the awkward. I mean, hopefully you either have a best friend as your neighbor or you have your mortal enemy.
Yeah.
So that's a risky.
Yeah.
That's a risky.
Yeah.
Or
That's why-
you just go
that's why you asked
hard
us
on
to-
inflatables.
I'ma
Like
just talk.
the entire every inch of your yard is like Peanuts characters reenacting the nativity with inflatable
but
status
Jesse, that
out
doesn't
there.
help with the light that shot. He's adding more light.
You're just adding more fire
They
to a
want to be
fire.
unpleasant. They want to be
There's
unpleasant.
no solution except for just adding more gasoline to this fire.
It doesn't fix his problem that says that he's
No, it
adding
does.
more too
Here's
much
how.
light.
Here's how. They
How
want to
does it
blast you
fix
with
it?
lights. All they're going to hear all night is the sound of about 35 little fans and those inflatables going all night long.
All night long, baby.
Bro,
We're
your
not
light-
turning them
your
off. We're
electric
not
bill
turning
is
them
gonna
off.
be $2,000.
All right, Brittany said that her family is split on what Christmas movie to watch tonight on Friday night. They do a movie night. The family is split down the middle between It's a Wonderful Life and Die Hard. How can they find a happy
Die
medium?
Hard.
Yeah, I mean, do
But
that's not
does
happy
everyone
medium.
want,
Wonderful Life.
does
Happy
anyone
medium
want to go right to
itself.
bed?
The
Yeah,
happy,
does everyone
or
need
Home Alone
trouble?
is
There's
the
other
happy
movies.
medium. Home
Yeah,
Alone
there's
is
other
the
Would
movies.
be the happy medium
It's
because
the
there's
happy
action
medium. Yep.
and
There's
heart,
other
sentiment.
movies.
It's
Yeah.
a Wonderful Life is great if you're looking to fall asleep. If you're having
Yeah,
trouble,
they're
that
two extremes.
Very true.
Right? Like one is the PG version and one's like they're two extremes. How do
I'm
you
guessing it's probably parents, the adults want It's a Wonderful Life, and the kids probably want Die
Listen,
Hard.
I have a hot take
versus
here.
elderly people
I
who
have a
want
hot
the
take
one
here,
of
and people might get mad at this, but the rule of thumb is nothing in black and white holds up. There's nothing from the black and white era that is
They have it in color now,
is
Jesse.
super boring.
They have it in color now.
Which is
That's
a
my
rule
dad
of
right
life.
there. That's my dad speaking out of me. I got it in color. I was like, I didn't watch it in black
If it
and
had to
white.
be colorized, it's going to be super boring, and just watch something else.
Okay, last one. Also, Cassie. Maybe she's sending two of them. She said, organizing a family Christmas photo is like herding cats. How do you get everyone to smile at the same time without blinking, looking away, or photobombing? I'm assuming she has small kids.
Burst. Just gotta take a
Oh.
burst of pictures.
So you could Photoshop the good faces.
Yeah,
into
I was
one
saying you got to do
final
the
one.
Michael Scott Photoshop.
Yeah, that's
class.
what I was wondering.
That's only literally that's what we did. We did that with my family. It was 12 people. We did that.
What's
Yeah,
that?
we photoshopped heads in my family. We literally did that because
Are you
I think I
serious?
was blinking. Yeah, because I was blinking in one of the photos that everyone liked. So my brother-in-law replaced my face. I'm like, why am I tan and everyone else is not tan? Because I took that one in Mexico and you guys took that in the forest in Fort Lauderdale.
I don't even know
That's
what
really
the point
funny.
of family photos are anymore. Like we have
You
technology
do them.
now.
You and your wife do the matching outfit photo shoot
We
thing.
did-
I
we
have
did
one
do-
sitting right here looking at me in an
We
Oprah
did
Winfrey
do
frame.
some incredible engagement photos, but that was before a time when the real talk. If there was like the Sears Portrait Studio, but it was
He's
just some
pulling it
guy on
down,
a
Jesse.
laptop. You guys,
He's pulling it down and showing the screen.
guys, that was on the photographer who took that had that on her website for quite some time.
You're just wearing white?
Yeah, it was just
That's it?
Yeah, so I wore a white
And
button
it's-
down.
it's a
She's wearing a.
OWN Oprah Winfrey Network frame.
It's yeah.
I thought you said there was matching though. There was matching one cam too.
Yeah,
I love that.
they're
Just
matching.
holds it up. Just holds it up. No,
They're
I know,
matching
but
in
I was
white shirts
expecting
and
like
jeans.
flannel. I was expecting like flannel matching.
Real
and,
talk.
like,
Cameron, do you remember a couple years ago I texted you? Because like that photo that you just showed.
Have that picture. That's crazy.
That photo.
yeah, there's no family photos next to you, Cameron. Only that photo of Jesse.
It's the only family photo.
The toothpick?
As it
How
should
did that
be.
toothpick just appear out of his hand? I didn't even see you pick anything up. What's going on over here?
Hold on, real talk. So the photographer who took that for a long time had that on her website, like advertising her abilities. Obviously, that photo brought her a tremendous amount of business.
It's a good one. No,
Thanks.
it's a good
one.
It looks like
Now-
a Lifetime Christmas movie ready to happen.
I mean, who's not using her?
I have no family photos in my house, but I have a framed picture of
as it should
Jesse
be,
and Dana's engagement.
as most homes should.
Jesse's a very wealthy man who comes back to his hometown, and his wife was, she was in the church. She was a violinist in the church.
Lifetime
Lost her
DVD
passion.
cover. Now, Cameron, but do you remember a couple years ago what I texted you around the holidays? That it was a photographer advertising, a local photographer advertising their ability to take great family portraits for the holidays, and it showed up in all of our mailboxes. Do you remember that photo that I sent you?
No, I don't.
It was a family, and one of the family members is now a very famous pop star and fashion icon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Pharrell?
It was Pharrell's family when he was in high school, and he's wearing like the dorkiest leather coat, right?
No.
And because he's from Virginia
That's
Beach,
crazy.
and
That's
a
awesome.
photographer who did like the Williams family photo when he was in high school, and it is the corniest photo you've ever seen. Like, I mean, you know how like it was like that one Cameron showed, just like back in the day where where people would take family portraits and everyone, it's all black and white except everyone's wearing blue jeans and they're blue. It was like that era of family photos, And this photographer had, I guess, found in her archives that she had taken the Williams family photo at one point and was sending it around to drum up business. It was pretty fantastic.
That's kind of fly. I ain't gonna lie.
That is funny. All right, last one. We'll end with the last holiday, New Year's Eve party planning question. Matt says he's been volunteered to plan the family New Year's Eve party. He has no idea where to start. How do you throw a memorable bash that doesn't end up as a countdown to chaos? I've thrown several New Year's Eve parties. Question is, how big do you want to go? I don't know. You just have a lot of fun, have music, have merriment.
What's the question? I'm sorry. The question
He
is,
just doesn't have any. He's never thrown a New Year's Eve party, and he needs tips on how to throw a good New Year's Eve party.
Games.
You got
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
Don't overthink
Food,
it.
Spotify playlist right there. You get some pizza, screw it, or get something food, and then that's it. Create an environment.
You know what always does well, and just is those photo booths that you can wear the wacky glasses and
those are
fake
great.
mustaches and stuff. You need to set up, speaking of portraits, a Sears portrait studio in the house where people can get like family photos done at the party. No one's not going to love that, like a cool woodland background or like a fake fireplace or something. And have like dude, no one's going to forget that party. They're going to keep those photos forever.
I love that.
I did that with some of my Halloween parties over the years. I had like the full backdrop photographer, like did the thing and people would come pose in their Halloween costumes and stuff. And it was like professional portraits and stuff.
Yeah. It makes for an unforgettable experience.
I agree. All right. Well, you guys sent in a lot of questions. That'll do it for Ask the Cast Holiday Edition. Hope that helped. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to mention a couple things. One, a very relevant Christmas playlist is now available over at Spotify. Go check it out. 350 of our favorite songs from amazing indie artists we cover. It's not the usual stuff. Go check it out. A very relevant Christmas. Just search for it over at Spotify. Also, head over to relevantstore.com where we are offering 30% off right now. It's our Christmas sale. We got podcast swag, amazing statement t-shirts, all of our magazine and book archives. What's available still. Go check it out. RelevantStore.com, 30% off. Don't miss it. Okay. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
Oh, this is Derek Miner.
I'm Marty.
Thanks for
for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I got to dig into this. This is very interesting. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I used to watch Preppers.
Relevant Podcast Network.